Me and a friend once did it in a fairly spontaneous let's try it fashion. We both went in the designated areas and came out pretty awkward but satisfied. We were having a laugh about it outside said room when a young man and woman both came out together. Glanced at us. Giggled a little and walked away. We went back in to check. And nope. No one else in there. To this day we still don't know who got the guy and who got the girl. Edit. Forgot to say. Would I still do it again? Sure. You both got the guy. You don't know if it was a man or woman. This means that it was simultaneously a man and woman in a state of superposition. Schrodinger's blowjob. Not exactly a glory hole story but close enough. Ages ago I went on a coffee date with a girl who told me about her crazy Saturday night. Her and her friend got super drunk at a bar. And her friend wanted to blow someone. The friend put a plastic shopping bag over her head with a hole ripped out of her mouth. And then started servicing a line of dudes in the bathroom. Apparently she got through 8 or 10. They got kicked out. And 3 days later I get told his story on a first date in the tone of lol. My friend is such a train wreck. After reading through this. Is it true there are rarely any female on the other side of a glory hole? Bathrooms are rarely unisex. I saw an ad for a private glory hole on Reddit that happened to be a couple blocks from my house. I DM'd the guy and we agreed to a time. I walked to his unlocked apartment. Entered the unlit bathroom like he told me to and stuck my dick into the hole in the shower curtain. Then I got my dick sucked and it was probably the best blowjob of my life. Positive experience. No regrets. Edit. For those who are saying my actions were unsafe. I crave death and blowjobs about equally. Either way, the sensation of sweet release is worth it. Dennis. If I was looking for safe, I wouldn't be sticking my dick through a wall. I have a gay friend who told me about a time he took the plunge. He is normally very straight-laced and stuck his dick through at a club in Salt Lake City of all places. Told me the guy that mouth hugged him did a good enough job but when he pulled his dick back out of the hole the smell that hit him from the guy's spit was so atrocious he almost gagged. Described it as puke bear. As a straight male, I just wanted to say I find it very difficult to masturbate to this thread. I've never participated, but have always seriously wondered. How are people not scared that someone is gonna cut your dick off? My fear is someone stabbing a skewer through it. Then you're stuck there. Bleeding. Hoping to die before someone finds you. German gay club. I was early 20s. There's not much more to the backstory. Would I do it again? Probably not. Not that it wasn't fun, it's just I'm older now and married. Wouldn't be my scene anymore. Finally. Something I can answer. I went to one last Saturday. I spoke to this guy on a site for swingers and he had a private glory hole in his home. After some talking we agreed that I would come over and he would suck me off. I turned up and the door to his house was open slightly so I let myself in and in his hallway there was a curtain with a few holes cut in them. I walked up to one of the holes. Pulled down my trousers and used a wet wipe to freshen up. Afterwards I out my cock through and he started to play with me to get my hard which didn't take long and then he started suck John me off. The best blowjob of my life so far. Speaking as a patron of gay spas bathhouses. Well, I guess that's most of the backstory right there. Bonus info about bathhouse glory holes. They tend to be oval shaped so as to accommodate different sizes. Cut into the wooden walls of booths. Well sanded and painted. Of course. The booths will typically have low stools on which to sit while you go to town on some cock. Some bathhouses feature glory hole alleys. i.e. a row of glory holes one after another. On the other side of the wall is a raised platform. So all parties can stand while they enjoy their fellatio. Would I do it again? I can and will. And then again. Again. After reading this rather wholesome thread. Sticking your dick through a hole is a fun and positive experience. That most folks would rate 9/10. Came in expecting some mixed experiences. So I'm happy for them. Except for the rat trap guy. I never had any experience. But my friend had a bad one. Stuck his penis into a hole at a party and the person on the other side literally snapped a rat trap down on his penis. He ended up in the hospital and had to have a tube inserted into his penis to keep his hole from swelling shut so he couldn't had to have some surgery for the vein in his penis. Luckily it still works without complications. He never did the glory hole thing again. I would use a glory hole. I saw a bathroom with a hole in it and I just stuck my dick through it. Turns out it was just the hole where you put the door handle in. Man. That dude ting on the bathroom sure had a surprise. And so did the 3 fellows standing near the urinal. Honestly. A simple mistake anyone could make. How would I know you aren't supposed to have sexual relations in the restaurant's bathroom? I nearly became an involuntary participant. I was at the local park in winter with a friend playing golf. As you can imagine it was super quiet being that it was cold. I decided to use the public restroom. There were no urinals. Only stalls and I was about to pick one out, but just as I had a hand on the door I heard a shuffle. I very cautiously pushed the door open, expecting that if someone was on the other side they'd stop me. That didn't happen though. But inside there was just a fully clothed man a little older than me. Sat on the closed toilet lid. Fully clothed and grinning at me. There was a hole at around his eye level between the stalls. I very cautiously closed the door. Then left the toilets feeling quite uncomfortable. At a glory hole basement under a nightclub in Sydney. My friend and I decided to wander down during a drunken stupor. He was gay and I was unsure myself. We entered into a stall together and laughed at ourselves and the situation we were in. I went into the stall next to his and poked my head through the hole and said hello to him. There were holes on both sides of each wall and we were just a young bunch of kids having fun. Then a man walked into the stall next to my friends and just put his dick through the hole. My friend and I laughed and he poked and prodded the gentleman's penis while we were joking around and having a drunken fun time. Meanwhile this guy who has his dick through the hole is probably just wondering why his member is being slapped and poked around. It was a very fun time and I look back on it fondly. We have been on both sides of the wall in swinger clubs that have vetted members. We always use a flavored condom if we don't know who is on the other side and have never had a refusal when insisting upon it. One time a guy had a visible mark on his dick so we bailed out as a precaution. But other than that, the experiences have been a lot of fun. It can be strange not knowing who is sucking because the mental image is largely a SI disembodied mouth. But there is no worry about looking weird and pulling faces. So you can focus on the raw enjoyment. We have not had any same-sex experience with it. As you can see who comes out of the room after, and usually if we receive. The guy waits and thanks us after. The most awkward thing is slinking away after finishing without being able to say thanks properly. My first visit at a swingers club. I went there alone as a 27Y. Woman. Got hit on a lot. Declined every time. Went to the glory hole cabin and got around 14 guys off. One after the other. Took an hour or so. I felt great. Kinky and naughty and horny. And was proud of myself afterwards. Even though there were 2 guys whose dicks smelled really bad. But I guess that's a risk you take in this setting. Was happy. Would probably do it again. Jesus. 14 guys. Husband wanted to watch me. So I tried it. Ended up sucking 2 dudes plus him. Everything was overwhelming and the ick factor was too much. I'd never been in a PRN both. No condoms. And that ing smell. With that smell I couldn't help all the panic thoughts of infection or what the hell I was kneeling on. Also those things are not made for 2 people. I much prefer having space so I can have both cocks instead of choosing one or the other. I'd do it again if it had more space. Smelled more clean. And condoms were used. Also my body is weird and it's hard to deep throat anyone in that position. I feel like I'm cheating the stranger out of a better blowjob. Most were happy. But I know I would have done better if they were laying. Till glory holes are a thing outside PRN videos. You suckin'? Am I the only one who came here from our glass blowing and now has a confused boner? How do you put your dick into a hole and have no idea what's on the other side? Not even a male-female issue, but like knives, scissors, needles, or an angry cat. I can't trust it. I'm here for the stories. Uncle said, look, there's a squirrel through this hole. Yeah, I went to see some cool and ended up in this really hot room. There was a glory hole that was glowing reddish yellow like there was a sun on the other side. The guy stuck his rod into the glory hole, then a girl blew it. She turned it slowly while blowing into it to make sure it was even. When it would cool off, she'd put it back in the glory hole to make it malleable again. When he finally finished, we had a really nice volumetric flask. Glass blowing is a beautiful art. You should really make a trip out to see it. Tell them I sent you. I wouldn't try the other side though. A bit too hot and molten for my taste. I gotta say, sex is already concerning to have since you can't be too sure the other person is clean. Then you do this. Like you're sort of asking for something to infect your insides at this point. Don't kink shame, bro. Pardon my ignorance. But what is a glory hole? Edit. Thanks for the answers. You stick your peen into a hole where you can't see the other side. I'm a straight guy who loves karaoke. When I lived in Texas, there was a karaoke bar very close to my group's regular string of bars that was actually a pretty well-known gay bar. Unbeknownst to us, we went in there and sang drunk karaoke all the time. Everyone was always so nice to us, which now we know why. I was drunk and peeing in one of the stalls. There was clearly someone in the stall next to mine, and a glory hole in between. Drunkenly, and not fully realizing what it was, I ate through it. Just a little. Just enough to make a point. Shortly after, a disgruntled gay man stumbled out and was very mad that I peed on his shoes. I came out of the stall. I'm a pretty big dude. He was a tiny fella, and he kinda threw his arms up at me and walked out. Realizing what I had done, I began laughing hysterically. Went out and told my buddies, and that's when we were kicked out and fully realized that it was a gay bar. 9/10 would do it again. TL. DRP'd through a glory hole onto someone's. I was going at my high school and I knew what a glory holes was. I looked down in the stall and saw a hole with text next to it. Stick it in for a good time. I got hard for some reason. Put it in. Then felt a mouth go over it. Blah blah blah. I got a blowjob. Girl left, I acted like I was ting. And that's it. So there was some female student skipping class to hang out in a boys' restroom for hours. Waiting for someone to try the glory hole and so she could have a random dick to suck? After she drilled a hole and wrote an invitation? Like, where did she go after? Does she have class to go to all of a sudden? She just spent all day sitting there waiting for someone's random dick. Ha ha ha. You still think that was a girl? It wasn't a girl. That was not a girl.